Hey guys, welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of the Soccer Sofa Football Podcast, hosted by me, the Stud.
And me, the Horse.
This week we've got an unbelievable interview, an incredible interview, a phenomenal interview with a footballer who, by the age of 23, had amassed nearly 200 Premier League appearances. Then, on the 17th of March 2012, a date that is synonymous with football all around the world, his career was sadly taken away. This is his story. Roll VT.
News of Fabrice Muamba, who remains critically ill in a London hospital after collapsing during the FA.
Nowhere really. Fabrice Muamba went down in the middle of the pitch.
FA Cup quarter-final. The Bolton midfield player Fabrice Muamba went down midway inside.
Great news for Fabrice Muamba's condition. We'll also have the very latest from the London hospital where he's being treated.
The Premier League footballer is fighting for his life in intensive care.
Everyone in the stadium seemed to appreciate that this was an extremely serious situation, including the fans.
Welcome everybody to Soccer Sofa. Today we've got a very special guest, Fabrice Muamba. Welcome Fabrice, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Very, very good, thank you. Are you coping well with lockdown?
Yeah, we're just trying to get by, waiting for the government to give us new instruction like everybody else. But all in all, it's been a good experience. Well, experience in the sense that, you spend a lot of time with the kids and get to do a lot of activity that I wasn't able to do with them, even though when they went to school.
And it also gives you a lot of time to catch up with people like. So it's an absolute privilege to have you on the podcast today, Fabrice.
Oh, no problem at all. Pleasure's all mine. So I said I'm happy to help us. It's not an issue at all.
Superb. So, in order to start, let's go all the way back to Zaire, or as many people now know, the Democratic Republic of Congo, as a young boy playing football.
I mean, for us, football in the Congo was just a way to express yourself. It was just a activity where you go out, you play with your friend. It wasn't obviously when you watch TV, you admire all the professional guys who are playing in Europe, but it's never really been something that you're like, oh wow, this is I can actually one day be a footballer. But in the back of the head, you just say, oh, we all can play football, but we never thought like one of us, oh, one day I can be in a men TV stream like everybody else watching me and playing football. So yeah, playing football for me in Congo was just a bit of fun. And when I came to England in 1999, which was December 1999, so it's almost 20 odd years ago now. Yeah, even when I came to England, my parents never really pushed me to play football. However, it was more of an education first. I came from an African background, which means the family are pushing is a strong word. The fathers always want the kids to study. Number one priority is to study, to be somebody in society. And that was with me. My dad wanted me to study, get my degree, get my GCSE. But because I just love football, football just become a big thing when I came to England.
Fantastic. And you did arrive in England on, I believe it was the 11th of December.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an easy route to England. I mean, it started many, many years before that. There was a bit of civil unrest in Zaire.
Yeah.
How did this impact you?
What happened is that in Congo we're going through a transition period where the old president has been there for over 20 odd years, and he came to change. So when a new regime tried to come in, because my father worked with the old regime, what a new regime, therefore, the plan was when we come in, we get rid of everybody in the old regime. So when I get rid of them, it's killing everybody from the old regime. And then when we come to place, take over everything, and then we can control the country. Obviously my father had different connection. He was able to come, to England to seek refugee asylum here, and you know, he also managed to sort us out, me, and to come over, which made it much easier. Obviously, my mom was able to move to a different place of Congo, you know, just live more a easygoing life and make that transition. So when the time was right for her, she was able to be safe. But it was more of a just being a target of the new regime than anything else, really.
Wow. And am I correct in saying that your father left a number of years before? I mean, this wasn't something that happened over a few weeks.
No. I said he credit to him. He fought ahead. He just, you know, one day we said, "I'm coming," and that was it. The last thing, you know, he said to me one day, like, "I'm coming. I'll see you soon." I said, "I know what." In my head, I just thought he's gone to work, and that was it. But he went, and that was when he really went, and it took me a couple of days to I seen him again.
What an amazing
You know?
story. It just goes to show what a father will do for his family.
I mean, it's very difficult because you know, no father would want to leave their kids away, but you have to do what you need to do for your family. And I think he sacrificed that particular moment for my family for us to be able to get here, really.
And it is just a simply unbelievable story. And then you arrive in the UK, you get off the plane. What's your first impressions of the UK?
Obviously it's beautiful, but the weather. I remember when I landed, and I think I got to go Heathrow. It was so cold, you know. It's very the December weather. It's very freezing. You know, obviously it was beautiful to come out. When I passed for immigration and I saw my dad, we hugged each other, and just to make that journey back home, you know, because I was so Star Trek with everything. I kept looking at, you know, you got past area, you looked at this, because everything was like, oh, this is what it looked like on TV, but you're actually like literally seeing it yourself. So for me, it was a great place to start my life, and also it took me a long time to be able to speak a word of English as well. But it was it was nice to see him.
Just going back to what you said earlier, who were the players that you were watching on TV at that time?
So, and this is straight after France '98.
Wow.
This is Premier League season. Just this is also you know, the people like Thierry. This is when Zidane becomes Zidane. We all talk about Zidane. So it was like a big thing. So when I come in, and everywhere we went, they always show an advert for football. So you were like, wow, you're intrigued by it, you know. So for me, it was as I said, by that time, I never really thought of just becoming a footballer. I was like, oh, this is nice, you know. That was what was in my mind. Oh, this is very nice. But all in all, it was just a very you know, very heartwarming experience.
You say you didn't speak a word of English. That must have been difficult when you went to school. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe you went to school in Walthamstow.
Yeah. Well, I went to school at Walthamstow. So the only thing I knew it, hello, hi, that's it. And my name is Fabrice. And in the Congo, because Congo was colonized by the Belgium, so we speak Lingala, which is a native language, but we also speak French. But English, it was like a whole new ballgame for me. So when I came to England, it was like it almost like starting from scratch again. I had an assistant teacher beside me in every single lesson, try to translate to me everything that the teacher would say, try to explain it to me in French, and so many stuff that I could have been very disheartened, you know, and make a big fuss about it. But I just wanted to learn, so I was able to just get my head down and just focus on trying to learn the language. So it took me about 2 or 3 years to be able to become more fluent and to be able to know everything that I needed to know.
I'm from Liverpool, Fabrice, so I'm still learning the language. So don't worry. You're doing unbelievable. So Fabrice, I just want to just touch upon that. You say that you just determined and you went to school. Do you think this was, you know, what was instilled in you from your father, as you say, going back to education?
Yeah, you know, in most African background, in most African family, that your parent want their children to be successful. And for them, I might be wrong, for most African families, to be successful is to be doctors, to be successful, to be a lawyer, to be successful, to be somebody in society. And for me, it was just like, you need to be able to learn English. And from there, we can determine which way you can, you can map your life out. And education was one thing that my father became drumming me on. Say, we need to be able to study, you need to have a good degree, good education, be somebody in society, all that kind of stuff, And I was like, listen, he never pushed me. I'm going to make sure that he never pushed me to do anything. Just make sure that I said, listen, make sure you just, you go out there, you give your best at school, and then from there we can decide which which direction we can take, But it's something that was ingrained in me from a very young age.
The thing that keeps coming up in my mind is Walthamstow, and obviously not far down the road from Walthamstow is the great Arsenal. So yeah. At what point did they come into your life?
Well, I never got scouted at Arsenal. What's really happened is that when I got to year 9 in school, we had by the time I was speaking English very well. I speak English, I speak French. So everybody knows Fabrice in school. I played in my school team. We got to year 9. We had a new kid came from Sierra Leone. His name is Rashid, who is actually my best friend. He came from Sierra Leone, and he joined the school. But Rashid he had a similar issue as me. His problem is he wasn't the brightest in the class, but he was the best footballer in the whole school. And he also played for Arsenal. So because also he didn't speak English, but I spoke English. By the time I become his, like I said, I'll help you with stuff. I help you with the homework. So the point where, like, if I do my homework, I'll make sure my homework is better, but him one is a little bit, it will be good, but not better as mine. But I'll make sure, I'll try to find a way how to just do things together. And we struck a very strong friendship. I said we live not far from each other. We met up a lot, and he said, "Oh, Fabrice, you're a good footballer." I said, "Yeah, who'd you play for?" I said, "I don't play for anybody. I just like to play." So, I asked him, "Do you play football?" I said, "Yeah, I play for Arsenal." I was like, Arsenal? I said, "Yeah, Arsenal." I said, I didn't believe him. He said, "No, come to my house." So he took me to his house. He showed me everything that Arsenal have given him, boots, training kits, all that kind of stuff. I was like, wow, this dude, like, I'm helping him, and he's there for Arsenal. But he's a very good footballer, So I said to him, I said, "Listen, is there any way you can tell your coach that you have a friend like me who can play?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll tell him." But I just thought he was a joke. Like, he said, "Yeah, I'll tell him." But because Arsenal loved this guy so much, they were willing to do anything for him. So he went, explained to the coach, said to him, "Yeah, I have a friend. He's a good footballer. And, I would love you guys to watch him play and see what you think." The next day I come to school, he said, "Oh yeah, my coach said you can come." I said, "Seriously?" I said, "Yeah, you can come." And, you know what? We arranged to meet up a couple of hours before training to go on training. So I said to him, no. Where's the training? The training is this address. So the training ground to my house in Walthamstow, it was about 5 minutes. So I knew where the training ground was. So I said to him, "You know what? I want to go there before you, and I'll meet you at the door so that we can just go together." So I go to the training ground. Something just told me to go introduce myself. So when I introduced myself, the coach looked at me, and the coach at that time was Steve Bold. This is awesome.
Wow, yeah.
By the time I didn't know who Steve Bold was, I'm just a young guy who wants to play football. And he looked at me and said, can I help you, son? He said, "Oh, my friend is Rashid. He asked me to come and play football." He said, "Yeah, but we didn't scout you." He said, No, Rashid asked me to come here that I can play football. So I just thought you can walk into academy and say, "Oh, here you go, come and play with us." He said, No. He doesn't work like that. It works like people outside will look at you and they'll invite you. I was like, oh my God. Then another his coach. So they had the two coaches. They had Steve Bold and Paul Davies as the two coaches. Paul come in and said, "Come train with us a bit, and we'll tell you, he will tell you what we think of you. So by the time they said come training, then Rashid came. So Rashid comes. I remember thinking, Rash, did you not introduce myself? I said, oh no. Somehow I tell you this, yeah. Somehow they were said to me, oh, you can train for a few of us. You can train.
Unbelievable.
The question that I've got burning now in my mind is what's happened to Rashid? You made it, and did he? Is he?
No, Rashid never made it. No.
No way.
No, I never made it. I started to train with them. You know, first week and the second week. The more I trained with them, the more the hunger of really becoming a footballer the desire to become a footballer started to burn in me. It really started to like pushing me, thinking, wow, I can do this, you know. And I am a year below Jamie
O'Hara.
Yeah, Jamie O'Hara was a year above me.
Yeah,
he was at Arsenal, but he was a year above me. And I remember one time we did a training session against their team, against my team, and they played me different position, but they never played me in midfield. They played me right back, they played me left back, they played me right wing. They couldn't fit me, but when they play me in midfield, they think, wow, this guy is doing everything. They said to me, oh, you know, we like how you play. We're gonna give you a 6-week trial. So within that 6-week trial, because the training ground was closer to my house and we had to train Tuesday and Thursday, I went in there every single day after school. Every day after school, I went in there just to practice. If I see one of the coaches, I also say, Coach, I'm new here. I'm on trial, but I want to learn. Is there anything we can do together, work? And the coach was like, yeah, come on, let's do it. We'll work for about 45 minutes, an hour. And I did that. And gradually my skills and my confidence started to improve. You know, after 6 weeks, I was given a 2-year contract to be in academy, you know, and that's how I go into Arsenal.
Well,
you know?
What was academy life like then for you? You must have been 13, 14 then?
Yeah, 14 years old. I mean, the academy life was more of it was fun than it is now.
Oh, right, okay.
It was fun because we were allowed to play for our school team.
Right.
Whereas now, if you're in academy, the academy can go as far as telling you you're not allowed to play for your school team. You know, we used to train twice a week, whereas now kids train every single day, which I think is a bit beside the point, because at the end of the day, kids need to be able to enjoy themselves, you know, play with their mates and learn different skills and stuff like that. So the academy for me was all about having fun, learning skills, playing against different academy, you know, playing against strong players. And what the academy taught me, it was more, they were structuring me how to play in my position. You know, they look at me, he's tall, which means he can be a defender or he can be a midfielder. So they always made it that different for me to be able to work on different positions. So, yeah.
So it sounds like the academy had developed a lot further than well, certainly when we spoke to Kevin Blackwell last week.
Oh, yeah.
He was in the academy. It was more like cleaning boots and doing jobs, whereas you were being trained technically. Yeah,
no. Now the academy, it's full on. You know, it's full on every day. Kids are leaving. I know for some clubs, or you know, the under 14, they have a day release where they don't go to school, but they come straight to the academy and train for the whole day, which I think is not fair for them, because you're sending a wrong message, you know, because you're telling kids under 14, if there's 10 of them, that them training every day, it's a likelihood that they will all become a footballer, which is far from the truth. You know, there could be 10 of them, but I can guarantee you, probably one of them will make it at the top level. So what happened to the 9 of them?
Sure. I mean, there's some big names that you were starting to rub shoulders with, certainly moving up into the reserve team setup. Yeah. The ones that spring to mind are the likes of Seb Larsson and Theo Walcott. I think you started to play with at reserve team level, and then you went on to make your debut. Is that right?
Yeah, Seb is 2 years older than me. And then when I'm moving to academy and I become a full-time, I can see this guy, you know, practice. And again, it's not fluke when I say to you, you have to practice. You know, I can see this guy after training practice his free kick, his passing, even though that he would train, but he would still go out there, give another extra 20 or 30 minutes, keep practicing. And it doesn't surprise me, Seb's gone on to have a very good career, playing in 2 World Cup, I think, and 1 European Championship. You know, and he deserves every single success that's coming his way. And he's a good guy, but also he worked very hard. You know, and there's no magic trick on it. He just literally worked hard in his game. And I remember with Theo, because Theo, he was bought from Arsenal, and he only trained with the reserve team for 1 week. And then the following week, he was named in the England World Cup squad, and that was him.
Yes, yeah.
And that was him gone to the next level.
Yeah.
Again, he also, you know, he's different to Seb, but he worked hard as well. You know.
Yeah. I mean, there's an obvious theme of certainly you staying to get your contract. It sounded like you put the hours in when everyone else had gone home.
Yeah, I that's the only way I knew to be able to sustain that level. You know, that's the only way I know. In order for you to maintain that level of success, of the hunger to be the best, you have to put in the hours of work. You have to stay over time, because at the end of the day, I realized that because Arsenal had such a huge scouting department, they are able to bring in anybody in my position, equally same high as me or better than me, and they'll come in and they'll play them. So I had to make sure that my position was never in discussion. And if you ever coming in there, they literally need to bring the A game. And I wasn't willing to. I was not willing to compromise. All I was willing to do is to work very hard.
And I think it would be fair to say that it paid off. You had your debut in 2005 in the League Cup.
Yeah.
I think it was 47,000 people you played in front of. I mean, I can't even imagine what that felt like.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that was one of the best days of my life, man. It was you think of like, this is what football is, but to actually experience the whole match day atmosphere, the whole match day preparation. You get up in the morning, because we play Sunderland away. So in my head, I thought we'll travel from London to Sunderland on a train. So, you know, obviously I'd never been around the first team those time, but a week prior to that, I was training more and more with the first team. So when I was told I'll be involved in the game, we went to, you know, we were given a direction to meet up at the training ground at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we got to Luton Airport. And my head of thinking, okay, Luton, okay, it's because there's a Virgin train come from London, Houston, possibly Luton, so we all came there to make it to Sunderland. So Luton Airport, and then we end up going to Luton Airport. I was like, okay, then we have this big private jet waiting for us, and then we all in a private jet from Luton straight to Newcastle. Literally, it took us about 45 minutes for Newcastle, and then that, to me, once I had that taste of like, this is how it is. Once you work harder, you get all this stuff start coming. Not that I'm glorified. I'm thinking, if you work hard, all this stuff that you see, it will become normal to you. You know, checked in the hotel, my own room, everything. It was laid down for me. I was like, I want this way of working hard. If you're working hard, I mean, you work harder, you get this kind of stuff. I want to be part of this. You know, we traveled to Sunderland, and again, the first time we go to Stadium of Light. I'm not sure if it's seen on TV. So what actually happened? They open the door. There's a stairs that lead you to the change room, and the same thing. I walk in, and I open to my change room, and I see my change room. There's my name there, 44 Muamba. Oh my word! That literally just hit all memory, everything in life. Everything that I've worked hard for, this is what, you know, this is it. You know, Pat Rice took us outside. We did a warm up, and we went in there. We played. You know, I think the back four is Almunia. I think Justin Hoyer was playing. Senderos. Alexander Song was playing beside me. Van Persie was playing up front. Flamini was playing beside me. Seb was with there. Clichy was playing left back. Ebue was playing with me. Quincy and Nicholas came on as a sub. So as I said to you, I made my debut. I was in good hand, put it that way.
Yeah. Well, welcome to professional football.
Yeah.
But of course, Fabrice, then, as a lot of youngsters do, you went out on loan to Birmingham. Obviously, still a great Premier League side. But how was that? You were leaving, temporarily leaving Arsenal.
I think once you had a taste of playing first in football, if you're also any footballer, it's very difficult for you to sit down and watch other people play and you don't play. You know, and once you had a taste of match day, playing every Saturday. So for me to go back and play in the reserve, it's almost like I'm going back to, taking a couple of steps back, because I've had already tasted playing reserve football the year before. And it only makes sense when we started the preseason and Mr. Wenger asked me, he said to me, listen, I want you to go on loan, and if your club come for you, I'm not going to put it there, but if your club come for you, want to go, we'll speak and we'll find a common ground, and then you can go and play there, because here I cannot guarantee you to be in my first 11, even in a sub for match day. So for me, when they said that to me, I was like, yeah, this is it, Then Birmingham came, moved to Birmingham. Again, that was another culture shock, because I went from living with mom and dad to living by myself. So all of a sudden, I had to be able to learn how to manage my money in terms of just paying the bills, council tax, all that, because in school, they never teach you that. This kind of stuff, they don't teach you at school. They teach you learn this stuff when you're actually in the environment, I need to prioritize how to budget my money every single month, how to budget how much money I've got left in terms of saving, how to buy my food. But at the same time, because my father's always say education, so I rolled myself in Open University. So when I was playing in the championship, I would study in Open University. So my support university, it was University of Birmingham in Edgbaston. So I'll go there every Wednesday on my day off with a teacher there to do maths with that teacher, But it got so much to the point where, like, when I started to play more regularly, I was so tired, because we play, as you see in the championship, we play Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday. So by the time, sometime I remember we played Plymouth away. By the time I got home, it was 3 in the morning. And I had to go to see the teacher the next day. And he looked at me and said, "You're tired." I said, "I am so tired." I said, "Listen, don't worry about it. We can continue." And I think that was like, I spoke to my dad and said, "Listen, I see where this is going. Let's look at it. Let's look something else later on." So yeah, and that's when I had to stop my Open University. But Birmingham was a great experience, great experience to get men football, playing against men, challenge myself against guys, learning the trade to play, Saturday, Tuesday game, the demand of championship. And I said to anybody, any team who get promoted, they deserve a lot of credit, because that league, it challenged you mentally, physically, and emotionally. And it did that to me, especially on my first year as a professional football player.
And you just touched on it briefly when you were saying about speaking to Mr. Wenger. How was your relationship with Arsene Wenger, and has he still had an impact on you perhaps to this day?
Yeah, when I say Arsene, it's always amicably, there's not a hard feeling, because you have to understand football is business, and you can't please everybody. And yes, at that moment, I was very upset. I'm thinking, why this man is telling me to leave? But I see his point, but also it's very beneficial for me, because I end up having a career. But I also think if I stayed at Arsenal, I might even progress anyway. So there's not any hard feeling towards that in terms of that situation, because at the end of the day, they made £4 million out of me when I was to Birmingham, and when I moved to Bolton, they made an extra £1 million. So yeah. All in all, it is good business in their side. So for me, with Mr. Wenger, there's never been an issue. Even now when I see him, he's always very, very nice. So there's no problem at all.
And then, of course, that deal, you must have made a good impression at Birmingham because that deal became permanent.
Yeah.
And I think you played another 35 games in that following season. So you were becoming a seasoned pro at the age of 21, 22?
Yeah, I at that time also I was playing with the under-21 in England, under-21, and that was a great way to mix myself with. No, I think playing the Premier League helped me to get into the under-21. But being at Birmingham to play Championship football was great. But playing Premier League football, it was another taste of this is it. If you want to. I remember I remember Steve Bruce telling me if you want to play in this league long time, you have to be your best every single week, And I mean, you have to do you have to sacrifice a lot, but you have to be your best. And Premier League is no different, People say Premier League is quick. Trust me, it is very quick, very, very, very quick. If you give somebody your thumb, they take the whole of your arms. That's how quick it is. Guys are very quick to run around. Guys are very quick at your. It's almost like you're playing against people who are so probably same-minded as you, or maybe advanced as you in terms of their football knowledge. So you have to try to find a way to get by them. And you have to do this every single week. And there's always somebody out there who's been watching your move, how you play. They can even predict what you do because they watch you so many times. And the Premier League is like that. And you have to literally bring your best game every single week. And that was, I always remember my first Premier League game. We played Birmingham, Chelsea away, and it was a Sunday game. We did all the match talk and everything, and this is just Chelsea after Chelsea winning the first Premier League title. The midfield was Malouda. No, it was Joe Cole, Ian Robben, Ballack, Lampard, and Makelele.
Oh, yeah.
and our midfield was me, Damien Johnson, David Dunn, Seb Lawson, and David Dunn, and we're going against these 4 or 5 guys. I'm thinking, God help us here.
That sounds equally matched to me.
Yeah.
But it was a learning curve and also when we did corner, like people who were marking a corner, so I was told I had to mark Drogba. I was like, I'm new to this league, so how are you gonna give me this guy who's been scoring header every single league? And then you said to me, I tell you what, when we had a corner, I hold him as much as I literally did everything I could do just to stop him to score. But obviously we ended up losing 3-0, but it was again another great learning experience for me, and that literally helped me to to give my confidence. Say, you know what, I deserve to be. I deserve to play in this league.
Fantastic. And did Drogba score from a corner?
He did not. He did not.
Well, you did your job. That's all you were asked to do, Fabrice.
Yes.
So, in 2007, obviously, you were making great waves in the league, and because you hadn't had your official call-up for England, am I correct in saying that Congo asked if you'd like to go and play?
Yeah, yesterday I approached me to play, but because I had so many cups with the under-21, I was hoping that maybe I have a chance to play for the national team, but that never came to fruition, But if things were different back then it is now, I would probably look at something different, and I'll do something different.
You say you played for the England under-21.
Yeah.
I think that's an understatement. I believe you're 5th in the all-time highest caps for England under-21 with 33 caps. How does that make you feel?
So I'm fortunate that I think I was consistent with my performance with the under-21. Stuart Pearce could rely on me whenever he called me out, and I think it could have been more if he never dropped me on certain games that me and him we fell out with, So, but now it's a huge privilege, it's an honor to be able to play at that level. I played in 2 European Championship final, which is one of them we got to the final against Germany that we lost 4-0. you know. And the other one we lost in a group stage against Spain. But all in all, it's been a great learning curve for me.
What a team. I mean, I'm just looking at I've got the team in front of me. Your last ever game for the England 21s was against the Czech Republic in the Euro Championships 2011. And if you don't mind me just reading them out, the team, Ryan Bertrand, Kyle Walker, Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, Jordan Henderson, Tom Cleverley, Daniel Sturridge, Danny Welbeck. Wow, they all went on, obviously, to get full England colours.
See, that team for me was okay. The team that got to the final 2 years ago, my team, the first game we played Germany was Joe Ha, Mika Richard, Nader Manua, Kieran Gibbs, Martin Crane, myself, Mark Noble, Lee Katimo, Adam Johnson, Gabia Bongoloho, Theo Walker on the right hand side. In the bench we had Adam Lallana. Who else was there? Oh wow. Who else is there? That's that group got us to the final.
And every single one of those players went on to play full Premier League or Scottish.
Yeah. But we got beaten by a very good Germany. They had Neuer in goal. They had Ozil playing. They had Kadir. Yeah, that's him. So that team that played us in the final, that we lost 4-0, that's the same team beat England in South Africa in World Cup. So you really have to look at it and think, well, if they can make that type of progress, why can we not make that progress?
Obviously, circumstances were against you, but I think you would have done. And
I never argued about it. I just feel like with the other team, the other country, they are more than happy to push young player through. That team played us in a group stage, and straight players changed 11 players. That same German team drew against our B team, 1-1. The same team we played in the final. They beat us 4-0 in the final. But the same team that beat us 4-0 in the final, 7 of them end up playing against England in the South Africa World Cup, beat them in the 2-1 or 1-0. How come that? Like somehow it doesn't make it doesn't end up. It doesn't make sense, because why can they say to them, you know what, we believe in these young kids, we'll put them through. Obviously now things have changed. I'll tell you this now. I think it's much easier to play for England now than it was 10 years ago.
So what do you think stopped that team from going forward?
But we I said to you, there was because of the way the national team was set up, there was so many people to get playing, so the pathway was very small. We only just now, probably next 2 or 3 years ago, that you can see there's a lot of young players coming through to the national team. But 7-8 years ago, you never see that. You and I know that you only have to play good 4 Premier League games for everybody to sing you're the best thing in the world. And then once Andy Gray or once Gary Neville say you're the best thing in the world, best believe you'll be in the England national team very soon. But 10 years ago it would be a lot more different. And the pathway for the national team, it's not as difficult as it is.
That's a really, really interesting point. I really would love to go on and talk about the England setup.
That's another day.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting point. We'll get you back on and we'll continue with that chat. All right, next up in your career then, in 2008, you moved to Bolton.
Yeah.
Okay, you were signed by Gary Megson for another little cheeky £1 million upgrade in the transfer fee. So this was $6 million.
Yeah.
How was it signing for Bolton at that time from Birmingham?
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, this is just when Bolton just escapes, relegation. Now they survived. I walked in there. I walked in the change room. It was a group of men And in Birmingham we had guys who were but Bolton, it was group of men who want to win, guys who were looking to do whatever it takes for the team. I walks in there, people like the likes of Kevin Davies, Kevin Nolan, UC Escalina, Juve, Ricardo Vaste, Andy O'Brien, all these guys, Matty Taylor, those guys, they just want to win, and they win at all costs. I learned that pretty quickly from the first training session, because it was like the intensity was something else, It took me a while. Then when I I lived in a hotel for a bit, then I found a place to live. But that's when I started to settle myself down, and just started the journey there really. And it was a great place to be, because I was surrounded with guys who want to win football.
Okay. And the rest of the team, I mean, you've named some players there, but Sturridge was there, Petrov, Klasnic, Marcus Alonso, Cahill, unbelievable players.
Yeah, with Marcus. Marcus is a very when he came in Bolton, he's very shy. He never wants to talk and everything. But I end up seeing him in Manchester. He was a different person in the night hour. I said to him, why don't you show this personality in the pitch? He said, because I want people to see me different. I said, no, you have to show this, because now like I look at you very different, because you're outgoing, obviously we lost guys to Chelsea. And, you can understand that when Chelsea come for you for 20 million and you go 6 months left in your contract, you have to go. There's no two ways about it, and Sturridge came on loan. Before Sturridge came, we had Jack Wilshere came on loan. But when he came into Bolton, this kid was so confident with the ball. He was so lovable. He wanted to just do well. We had Stuart Holden, who myself and him would partner myself in midfield. Mark Davis, Martin Petrov, arguably the most professional footballer I've ever seen in my life. This guy is so professional. It's unbelievable. Training start at 10 o'clock. Martin at 8 o'clock is in the training ground. You're like, Martin, come on. Do you live here or what is this? Again, we had a very different group, under different manager. When Gary Maxson left, it was completely different. But when Owen Koyo came, it was different in a way that there was more of it became more friendly, but to the point where there wasn't much of a respect between the players and Owen Koyo, if you know what I mean. And the respect broke down because he wasn't honest enough for players. And with the thing with you can ask anybody to play under Owen will tell you, he didn't tell the player the truth. In a sense that if he's dropping you, he said to you, oh yeah, I'm changing the team. I feel I'm gonna go to different route. But if we lose, I'll bring you back in. I'll take that, no problem at all. But if you're telling everybody in the same thing, the change room the same thing, because you've got to understand also in a change room, boys talk. We're like kids. We just talk to each other. So when I speak to another person, say to him, well, what did he tell you? He told me this. They say, hold on a second. He just told me the same thing he told you. So you start to figure him out. Say, well, he doesn't really tell it how it is. I prefer you to tell me, I'm not playing you because I feel like you've not been training the best. So I'm going to take someone else. If you train hard enough, then I'm going to consider you. If you keep telling people, yeah, I won't play you, but if you win, if we lose that game, the following week, you're still playing the same team, then I'll question everything you said. And as time goes on, everything becomes so predictable, Owen. Everything becomes so, to the point where like we had our group chat where we can actually make a laugh or joke about him at all time. I said, oh, you watch his team, I bet you he will say this word first, to that level, because he was, don't get me wrong, he has his quality, but it just wasn't man enough to tell people why are you being dropped. And that's a very important point, especially in a change room. If I'm gonna drop you, I'm gonna tell you the reason why you're being dropped.
I've got to ask this now. I'm sorry because Paddy was teed up, but I've got to ask this. How did players like El Hadj Diouf Because let's be honest about this, players like El Hadji Diouf weren't always necessarily the model professionals. How did players like El Hadji Diouf respond to people like Owen Coyle?
See, with Juffy is like Juffy he's got two characters. He's got the Juff that you see, on the newspaper. When Juffy's in a pitch, he's a completely different person. The one that you see on TV, that's just a facade. When you get to speak to him, that you like, oh, I understand. I know what you're doing. It's fine. Because he just want people to see him. I'm Juffy. I'm the best. No problem. But you need Juffy when you play away at Burnley. You're winning 1-0. Juffy was gonna get the ball, run into the corner, and he will somehow manage to get fouled. And behind the foul, he will create something in that corner to get behind against the home team. You might not appreciate him, but you realize how important it is when he's not there. He knows how to get it best. You have to really watch him thinking, how this guy does things. But when you start to see his character, how he goes by his stuff, as I said, yes, I admit it's not everybody cup of tea, but he's a vital member of the team. Once you know how to use him, once you know, say, you know what, Juffy, we need to kill off 5 minutes. Come get a foul somewhere. Somehow he get a ball and he will create a foul. A foul will give you 3 or 4 minutes just to take your breath back, just to organize yourself again. He has his role, as I said to you. He's got his role in the team. He's not everybody's favorite person, and I don't encourage what he does. But once you see him in a football pitch, you play with him thinking, I see why you have to use Juff at time in the pitch.
And of course, Fabrice, you're starting to settle into life at Bolton now. I think you've just got engaged. So 2012, you met your wife, or your wife to be. And of course, there was that life-changing moment at Bolton in the FA Cup, at White Hart Lane. And the whole football world stopped. Obviously, Pete and I will never forget this moment. But would you mind just explaining to perhaps some of our younger listeners when and how life changed for you at this point?
So it was 17th of March 2012, so just 8 days ago, or 8 years ago now. So we played the Spurs away, FA Cup. We did the same routine. I did the same thing that I do when in a travel and I see everything else. When I go to the stadium, do this check. I want to see the pitch and everything. I spoke to my father. I left the ticket for him. So when the game started, I missed a great chance to score a goal. And so when I was running back to the center circle, if I get to see somebody's in front of me, my vision become blurry, so I can see two of them. I couldn't see properly. And out of nowhere, it just suddenly I feel very dizzy. Then I just fell down. The first time my head hit the floor, the second time, that's when the last time I was able to play football professionally anyway. It happened on Saturday the 17th. I didn't wake up to speak to anybody. It was Monday. So I was 3 days gone, It was very challenging, but also very difficult time for my wife, because she was watching at home with my son. My dad was watching in the stadium. So when she was told to come to London, she didn't know that if I'll be alive or dead. So she came and she stayed for 3 days, went back home, checked on my son, and come again and to see me and then to be able to be up beside my bed. I said to you, I said many times before, I was fortunate enough that the big men up the top were looking out for me. But I had the best medical staff on that day. I mean, the best medical staff. I had 2 cardiologists, 4 doctors, 1 ambulance. All these people were there. They were ready for me. And once it happened, they all worked together under pressure to be able to pick me from the stadium, from the pitch to the hospital, and try to do the best they can to help me to recover.
Fabrice, I've got to say, I remember that day because I'd been to watch a game. Everton had played Sunderland earlier that day.
Yeah.
And I remember just walking and somebody telling me this had happened, and then watching it on TV later, and it still sends shivers down my spine because it shook the whole footballing world. I mean, what was the outcome? What did they find when they obviously treated you? And
well, we never come to conclusion what was the cause of it, you know. And also, what I didn't realize how big it was because I was just in the hospital bed every day, but I didn't realize how big it was. Like probably 4 or 5 days in, where I see so many people, so many celebrity who come in to see me. It's like, oh, Fabrice, how are you? I'm like, I play for Bolton. I don't recall you coming and see me, you know. I mean, everybody watched football. Everyone. I'm talking about. I had a message from the Pope. I had Seb Blatter. I had Leon Brady, who I've not seen in many years, and come and see me. You're thinking, what's happening? But obviously, I couldn't remember everything. So my parent and my wife, they didn't want to tell me what happened. So in my mind, I thought, well, this is what happened. So I'm gonna go home probably in a week time, probably have 2 more weeks off, then I'll go back and play football. That was my ideal. That was my head. So I'm gonna go back and play football. But as time goes on, and you know, they start to do a lot more research, a lot more whispering, you know. Time goes on, it just doesn't seem right. And out of no, and I had to have a pacemaker put in me, but I was so against it, you know. My wife told me, if you don't put it, it's me and you'll be over. Like, okay, well, let's not go for that route then. So I went in, had my pacemaker put in, but also the only way a team will sign me if I had a pacemaker put on. You know, that was another way to sell me to get a pacemaker put on. You know, and I had it done, but again, they still didn't want to tell me anything. You know, I went to see 3 specialists. You know, I see the guy in Belgium, I see the guy 2 guys in London, and they said to me, Fabrice, the best thing we can tell you right now is to retire. And to be told that I have to retire, that was a painful pill to swallow. I mean, it was very, very difficult. I remember I told my wife, I want to be left alone. I just want to cry. And I cried. But what helped, I was lucky enough, I'm surrounded with friends and family who supported me. But also the PFA, the Professional Football Association, Golden Taylor came in and said to me, listen, take your time. If you want to work for us, you're welcome to come work for us. If you want to do something else, I'll help you to find different route. But it was a very, very difficult pill to swallow. To be able to to be able to say you're not able to play football, something that you worked very hard, you put in blood and sweat in it to get to that level, and then now you be told you have to call it a day. It was very difficult. But for me, the way I look at it, I said, I live my dream. You know, I've lived most kids' dream. And most kids' dream in England is to become a footballer, to play in the Premiership. And I played it. So, yes, I'm upset that it been cut short, but at least I got to play. At least I got to live as well. You
retired on the 15th of August 2012. And
yeah,
obviously it was a forced retirement. Are you resentful of that? Because arguably you'd still be playing now, and
yeah. Even that, I was in the final squad for Team GB when the Olympic was. So my summer was cancelled because I knew from February that I would be playing Team GB. So we even had a meeting with Bex and Gigs and everybody. So we was like, oh yeah, this is the plan. You know, I don't have no resentment at all, not one. You know, because if we speak the truth, I could be dead by now. I should be dead by now. So football is probably the last thing, you know. To be able to see my wife and my kids is the most important thing. So there's not resentment at all. I mean, not one bit of it.
I remember, as I said, the emotions that went through me as a football fan when I saw the footage. But then there was a second wave of emotion a few sort of months later, and it was the 8th of November 2012 when you returned to Spurs, and the whole footballing world, again, shivers down my spine as I'm talking about it. The whole footballing world, as you walked back out onto the pitch for the first time. How was that?
That came about because we're doing a documentary, and they asked me, "Oh, how do you feel about going to White Hart Lane?" I was like, "Oh, I've not been there since, but we'll go. We have a look and see how I feel." The whole day I spent in my hotel room, and the car came to pick me up. The closer we start to get to the stadium, the more my heart started to beat so fast. I start to get nervous, like I'm gonna go play football. But I was literally on the edge of the seat in the car. And I walked in, and I see one or two people that I recognize. Hey, how you doing? And they see me. Oh, Fabrice, how are you? I said, as everything, you're very, very polite. I watch the game. And at halftime, they asked me to come downstairs to go and do it. Oh, again, I was so nervous. Once I came out of the pitch, I was more at peace then, because I felt like I said, I'm happy that I did this. Yeah, but
the whole of the football world applauded.
Yeah, I was
moment.
So nervous, so nervous to come out there, But I'm glad that I did it.
Unbelievable. And also, you got married as well.
Yeah. The plan was to get married 2 years after, but I said to her, listen, I don't know what life has to offer us right now, but I think, okay, shall we just bring the whole thing forward and just get it done? So, you know what, I think once you tell a woman to get married, you'd be like, yeah, no problem, too. It was a mutual decision. So it was like, let's go ahead and do it together. So we end up getting married. So yeah.
Fabrice, I think it would be fair to say that life has very much continued for you after football, with loads of different things in the spotlight. The one that really sticks out for me is your Strictly Come Dancing appearance, which Pete is a secret Strictly follower, and he tells me you got 35 points for your salsa moves.
I think and I never told people before, but I've got an offer to go to the Celebrity at the Jungle. I said no to that. And the Strictly one was like, oh, come on, for charity. In my head of thinking, but it was like going to football training, which means you're just dancing every single day. It took me like 3 days to get that routine together, and we had I think we had about 20 days just to practice that 3-minute routine. But it was so much fun because you're out of your comfort zone. I was wearing a different uniform, very different uniform than my usual uniform. But it was fun, I'm glad that I did it. I'm just glad I went in and got it done.
I think I'm right in saying you've got your journalism degree, you've got a master's in, I'm not sure what your master's was in. I couldn't find it.
The master was given to me by University of Birmingham. I didn't earn that.
Oh, right. So you could have kept that one quiet.
They gave me University of Bolton. They felt sorry for me. Like, you know what? Let's give him. No, I got a BA in sport journalism. I studied at Stafford University, and I've also got a BA in business study at Leeds University of Liverpool. So yeah.
Good choice. That's my subject that I teach. And of course, you've got some coaching badges as well. We're going to see Fabrice Muamba as a frontline manager, or is coaching behind the scenes going to be your role?
It's all about opportunity. I wanted to get it done. We got it done now. Like obviously with pandemic now, has affected a lot of work, a lot of everybody, especially in the world of football. It's a waiting process now. We just have to wait and see how everything turn up in the next couple of weeks or a couple of years, and then we'll decide if coaching is the route, and we'll see what happens.
So what is next for Fabrice Muamba then? What is the master plan? I know you say you'll see what happens, but you must have the master plan.
Well, I work for the PFA, which is the government of football. So at this present moment, we're doing a lot of work behind the scene in terms of sorting out players' contract. As you might know well aware of it, most of the players' contract runs out on the 30th of June. So the big question is there going to be football play before or after? And if they're going to play after, does that mean you're going to extend the contract for a month or two, or you're going to give them a whole new contract? So behind the scene, I'm more occupied with myself, with the work that I do, the PFA, the club that I look after. But, you know, I'm satisfied, and I've got 3 boys. They keep me happy. I can't complain at all.
So come on, Fabrice, give us a world exclusive. What is going to happen with contracts, and how's the season going to end?
There is a chances that next month it will be something might happen in terms of the big boys up at the top there. But in terms of the Championship or League One or League Two, I'm not quite sure. But there is a huge possibility that maybe next month, you know, we'll see some game. But it all depends how they play. It could be behind closed door, because you know you have to be aware of it. If one person being affected, then the whole probably 90% of the people in the stadium might be affected of it. So there's a lot of discussion going around behind the scene and try to come with a solution. But there is a possibility. And the possibility goes as far if the game will be even watched live, rather than waiting to 5:30 to watch the highlight. It will be straight from 3 o'clock all the way through. You have a choice to watch it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think we've just got our first world exclusive, horse.
Yeah. I'll get myself ready for Sky Sports News.
Fabrice Muamba, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and your story is unbelievable. And Fabrice, the whole footballing world loves you and will always love you. Just thank you so much for everything.
No, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. So I hope you guys also make sure everybody listen to this podcast too.
Now, Fabrice, just before we go, you've also got a little project online as well that we can share with our viewers and listeners.
I do stuff on YouTube, so I'm not saying I'm a YouTuber, but I just like to post stuff on YouTube. So you can go on official Fabrice Muamba channel, and you can catch up with my stuff that I do on a not daily basis, but on a weekly basis.
Guys, listeners, sign up. He's a good man, and he's been an absolute pleasure. Fabrice Muamba, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Fabrice.